I tell you, that's something that we need right there. And I don't know how anybody can walk through this land or attempt to walk through this land in the world, not only the way it is right now, but just to walk through life without the Lord. I mean, who do you hold on to? And who do you call out to when your troubles come? And where's your trust at? And Brother Darrell mentioned about blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord. You know, and it says cursed is the man who trusts in man, who trusts in yourself. And if you don't have the Lord, if you don't have that security, if you don't have that understanding, if you've not been born again, you know who you're trusting in, you know who your faith is in, it's in yourself. That you got enough power to walk the walk, if you got enough power to control everything and you have all the answers, you're wrong. The end of that is death. But Jesus Christ is where it's at. So that's why we're here, and Brother Darrell mentioned the same thing. That's why we come to church. That's why it's a Wednesday night. And I'm looking around at a church house. We've got 3 people here. Normally, we've had as much as on a normal Wednesday that when we'd have services here, we'd have 12, 15, 20, 30. We've had as much as 60 on a Wednesday night. And most people think that church services, that's all set up is for Sunday. That's what being a Christian is about. That's what we've narrowed it down to. Being a Christian, that's the 2 hours on Sunday. You're going to come in, we're going to sing a few songs, we're going to go ahead and pick everything out, we're going to line a few points to a sermon, you know, and we may have a bullet point thing, we go through that, you know, and I see it in a lot of places. And when it's done, you'll go home. Why? Because that's life. You go home to live life. You'll work, you'll make money, you take care of your family, you do what you want. Oh, Sunday's here. Well, we better go to church. What if you miss one? It's just church. We've taken the Christian life, the Christian walk, the name of being a Christian. The name of being a Christian doesn't mean anything anymore to a lot of people. And I kind of put it like this. And going up in school, you had your core classes you got to have. You have to have your math, your reading. You got to have all these history. You know, I don't know if they teach history now. You got to have all these things. All these things. And if there's any room, you can have what's called an elective.
That's where we put church.
Not mandatory, just elective, and you pick one. Oh, how about a membership at a country club? It's an elective. They put that right there at church. That's what it is. It's something you're a part of. It helps your name in society, in the community. Oh, he's got a good name. He goes to church. Yeah. We're going to leave him alone. He goes to church. And I've seen people who live all their life, and at the end of their life, they say, "Well, I'm glad he joined the church. I'm glad he went to church." He went to church, and you never know it, because it's not about being a Christian. So being a Christian is being Christ-like. Ask yourself this: what in your life right now represented Christ? What in your walk right now represented Christ? You know, one of his disciples, when Jesus was on trial there, that he went up behind and he's kind of hiding out amongst the crowd, and he was looking around trying to see what was going on, and they looked at him and said, "Oh, you're one of those people. You're one of the ones that was with Christ, wasn't you?" He said, "No, not me. That's not me. That's not, no, Peter's like, "No, you got somebody else you're thinking about. That's not me." It happened again and again, didn't it? They said, "Oh, we know you. We've seen you with him." "No, not me. He even cursed, didn't he?" Yep. He said, "Yeah." I said, "Your speech betrays you." Mm-hmm. Did your speech betray you today? And most of the world said, "Oh, but it's Wednesday." Does your speech betray you on Sunday for 2 hours, but not any other time? Right. I'm not come up here to beat on nobody. I don't know why this is on my mind, and I got some things I want to talk about, but I may get there, I may not. Be Christ-like. That's what we need. When we say the battle, get up and about the Father's business and the battle's being fought, we know the victory is in Jesus. We know the end is coming. We know that the main battle's been won, Brother Darrell. And Jesus won it on Calvary when He stood there and the blood came dripping down. When they put the crown of thorns on His head, they thought that they were winning. They thought that, yeah, we got Him now. They said, oh, we've killed Him. The devil, he thought, yeah, what are you going to do now? We got you. Guess what? He might have bore the sin of the world, but there was no sin in Him. He walked the perfect walk. He lived the perfect life. He bore the sin of the world for you and for me. Praise His name today. He rose victorious. The battle's been won. The victory is in Jesus. And people say, oh, if the battle's won, what are you doing? He paid the price. He did the work. We're here today to declare Jesus Christ into a world that doesn't know Him. We want people to go to heaven. We want you to go to heaven. So that if the blood has not been applied. So look at it like this. There was a time in my life when I walked here and I thought, yeah, I could do what I wanted, and I was real young, and I was in high school, and I thought, yeah, I was going to make my life up. I was going to pick my choices. I was going to go to college. I was going to do this and do that. I thought everything was going to be good. Until one day the Lord come passing my way. Until one day the Lord opened my eyes and allowed me to see my life for what it was. And you know what I saw? Just like Brother Darrell said, his eyes were open. The Spirit of God drawed me and He opened my eyes. I seen sin for what it was. I seen my life. I knew that hell was going to be my home. Praise the name of the Lord. I seen sin, my sin. I didn't like it. And it was a revealing spirit, and it showed me things. I understood things that I never even thought of before. And when God looked down upon me, He seen my sin. I had no covering for it. I had nothing. I couldn't answer for it. I had nothing to bargain with. I had nothing to do. But now, when He looks down, He sees the blood of Christ. Why? Because I called out to the Lord and I understood that it wasn't in me. It wasn't in what I can work out. I didn't have any money. I was a short, little old skinny, scrawny thing. I couldn't do anything. All that I had, I knew was as filthy rags. And now looking back, I understand that it was as filthy rags. And at that time, I even tried to figure out who God was. I climbed the top of a mountain because I heard preachers say, they climbed up the mountain to pray. I've heard them say that they down back into a mine and they prayed. I've heard them say all those things. So I climbed the mountain to try to figure out if God was real. And I climbed all the way to the top of it. And I began to pray. I guess you could call it praying. It was just me up there. And I looked up to the heavens. And I said, God, if you're real, let me understand. Something told me that God was real. Something gave me an understanding and a desire to go up there. Why? Because I was concerned about my soul. I was afraid of dying and going to hell. So I climbed that mountain. And guess what? Was the Lord there? Well, God is everywhere. Amen. Did He want me to climb that mountain? Maybe it's something that I did to try to weigh it out in the balance and see. But the wind began to blow. And you know what this old boy done? I ran off that mountain just as fast as I could run. Scared me to death. Did God mean to scare me? It could have just been the wind. What scared me was sin. What scared me was when the Spirit of God opened my eyes and allowed me to see for what it was. And I saw sin. I saw my helplessness. I'd lay down at night and try to figure out things and just worry. What if something out of the blue happened? What if just some tragic accident? What if the house burnt down? What if something happened and my life was ended? I knew that. I had a feeling about me. I didn't know for sure, but I believed that I would die and go to hell. Enough to where I'd lay my hand on my pillow. And as many of you have heard me say this, and I'd lay my hand up there and I would call out unto the Lord. My brother who slept 3 feet from me in a little old room, he slept like a baby. I didn't realize that a war and a battle was going on. But I laid there with my hand up and I said, God, if you would you hold my hand through this night? God, please don't let me die. I can almost see the devil's face at the foot of my bed. Something made me realize that hell was going to be my home. Something made me realize that I had nothing. But you know what? That same revealing spirit, he didn't stop there, Brother Darrell. Guess what he did? He also pointed up to Calvary. He pointed up to Jesus. And I bowed myself there. And I said, Lord, here I am. God, what would you have me to do? And he born me again. He wrote my name in the Lamb's Book of Life. And so now I'm right here over 20-some years later. He's never left me, Brother Darrell. And he never will leave me. And he's going to come again. And he's going to take me home to glory. Praise his name today. I've got a desire today to tell men and women about this man named Jesus. And I want men and women to understand, what does God see when he looks down upon you right now? Does he see the blood of his Son? Has it been covered with his blood? And if not, he sees your sin. And you're still separated from him. Separated, that big gulf. Oh, but I got some good news for you. I've got some great news for you. Though that gulf is great, though that gulf we can't pass, guess what? While Jesus was hanging upon that cross, he took the sin of the world upon him. And guess what else he did? Him and the Father were one, wasn't they? And he was in the beginning with him. It says in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Praise his name today. Guess what? He was right there. But in that moment he hung upon that cross. In that moment there, God turned from him and he was separated. Why? He endured the separation so we could be made nigh to God. We who were far off are now nigh to him. Praise the name of the Lord today. God knows what's needed. And I am so glad today. So glad today that he did that. He could have called at any time for legions of angels. He could have called at any time. He could have just spoke the word. Brother Darrell, he didn't even need the legion of angels, did he? He could have just spoke the word and the nails would just come out. He could have spoke the word. He could have just spoke and the soldiers would have fell to the ground. He could have just said, stop. They would have never put him up there. He could have just waved his hand and the skies would have went clear instead of dark clouds. He could have just said, no, not this. Matter of fact, one of the disciples said, be it far from thee. And Jesus said, get behind me, Satan. Why? Because he was born to die. Jesus, the Son of God, was born to die. For if he did not die, we'd have no salvation. I've got one more thing. Don't let me stand too long, Brother Darrell. I've got one more thing. People think, oh, they're looking for something to save them from this thing that's going around. And they're looking for anchors in this life. They're looking for the good things. They're looking for so much. They're thinking that to get it, they just got to go get it. Let me say something. In the Old Testament, they couldn't even go to God. they had to go to a priest and offer to the priest so that the priest could then offer to God to stay their sins. And it wasn't even good enough. Imagine today, that's what Brother Darrell mentioned, this is what came on my mind. He mentioned about it. It's not between you and me and God. It's not between you and the Rock Fork Church and God. Before, they had to go to a man who was appointed, who had sinned himself, and if he died, they'd appoint another one, and if he died, they'd appoint another one. He himself was subject to sin and death. But now, he said, I'll make a new covenant with man. I'll write my laws in their inward parts. No more will men have to go around to his neighbor and say, know ye the Lord. And he said, they shall all know me. I told you that something spoke to me. Something said that there's more than life than what you're thinking. I would sit and stare at the stars and at night on the porch and just look up. And sometimes I'd just watch the clouds roll. And I'd look at the mountains of how they were all dressed. Something spoke to me and said, there's more than life, young man, than what you're thinking. And that's what I'm trying to tell you today. He said, I'll write my laws in their inward parts. And he will draw all men. He's going to be the God of all who call upon Him. Well, guess what? We don't have to worry no more about trying to go to somebody else to go to God. But every man has a way to God. And Jesus Christ is that way. That middle wall of partition has been torn down. And there's no more Jew and Gentile. There is one creature, one Creator. Praise the name of the Lord. What I'm telling you today, no matter where you're at, you could be watching from your bedroom. You could be watching from the kitchen or the living room. You could be listening as you're driving down the road and you're wondering, who can you go to? Where can you find help? Where is the security of life? And I tell you, you can call out to the Lord through and by Jesus Christ. Praise His name today. Listen, when Jesus died upon that cross, He endured that separation. And He gave up the ghost. They took Him down and they wrapped Him in those bands. They laid Him in a tomb. And many thought it was over. Many thought that was it. This is it. This is done. But on that third and appointed morning, some sisters went up early in the morning. Early in the morning. They had a desire to anoint His body. They knew just where they laid Him. They knew the stone was there. But something probably told them they'd figure a way out to get in. And when they got there, the stone was moved and an angel was there. Said, why seek ye the living among the dead? Why do we seek things in the world that's dead? Why do we want security in the world that's dead? Why do we want help from a world that can't help themselves? Why seek ye the living among the dead? Give me Jesus and let the world go on by. I've got life today because of Jesus. He rose, conquered death, hell, and the grave. Praise the name of the Lord. That's what we want you to understand and see today. And we pray. And we pray. Brother Darrell and I, and several others who come and visit, we really appreciate it. We come here because we love the Lord.
Love you.
And because being a Christian is Christ-like. He could have said no, but He went. We're to be ambassadors of Christ. We feel that it's more than just 2 hours on Sunday. And our walk should betray us. What we're asking you, if you're Christians, if you've been born again and you're listening to this, Start putting the armor on.
That's right.
Put the breastplate on. Put the shoes on. Grab that shield, that sword, put the helmet on. Because we need to be in the battle.
That's right.
If we think it's just 2 hours on Sunday, we've missed the point.
That's right.
Who can we touch? If we're not close enough to God, how can we expect God to use us in situations? In a world that's in turmoil and we want to be a great light, how can we be a great light if we're not close enough because we only come to church 2 hours on Sunday? There's more.
A lot more.
There's more to this. And we love you.
That's right.
We come here today. Did we have other things to do? I'm sure we could have come up with excuses. But I didn't come because of my name. Daryl's not bringing up his name. We come to declare Jesus.
Amen, brother.
He saved my soul. And He called me to a job that I sure would not have called myself to. But God makes us able ministers. And we want to declare Jesus unto you.